So, what I'm gonna do today is talk about what would happen if you get arrested, and the best way to get yourself out of trouble, and what your options are. You know, prison's always the last option. You're always trying to find another way to get yourself out of trouble without going to prison. I had a lot of experience. I've been arrested quite a few times. First time I was ever arrested was in 1993. I was 13 years old. Last time I got arrested was 2013. I just came home. I just did almost 6 straight years. I just came home 2 months ago, and I don't plan on going back. So I figured I would take some time out and explain to you what to do to keep yourself from going into that same situation that I was just in. Obviously, start with arrest. There's a million ways to get arrested. Anything from burglaries, robberies, involving drugs. There's millions of ways. Just pick one. If you do find yourself getting arrested during the crime that's being committed, that's it's not a good look. You're not going to have much of a defense, but you don't say nothing. You go to the precinct. The precinct will probably question you, try their best to get you to tell on somebody, tell on yourself, tell on your grandmother, your mother. You don't do nothing. You don't speak to them all. You tell them that you want an attorney, and if they don't give you an attorney, just wait it out. Where I'm from in New York, they're probably not going to give you an attorney. They'll probably just lock you in the cell overnight. The following day, you'll go to court, and when you go to court, you'll be if you don't have your own lawyer, you'll be issued a lawyer, a legal aid, and you won't have to pay. And when you get to that point, you'll more than likely plead not guilty. Your lawyer will tell you what you're looking at, how much time, how much options you got, and you got the choice. Do you want to fight it? Possibly get found guilty at trial and more than likely get a hell of a lot more time than you would have gotten if you took a plea, or take the plea. Sometimes you can get a plea where you don't go to prison or jail. You can go to an outpatient, inpatient, fine, restitution, what have you. Some of the options, like I said, are inpatients. I happen to have gone to a few inpatients. There's different kinds. There's 28-day programs, and then you got the long-term treatments that they're called TCs. That's therapeutic community. They could be anywhere from 6 months to damn near 2 years. I went to one when I was 15 years old for a bunch of burglaries that I had. I took that instead of going to jail or prison, and I did almost 15 months. You had to stay in there the whole time. It was a nightmare. They tortured you. They try to help you get your life back together. They build you down to break you up. But I'm talking about hours and hours and hours of cleaning, scrubbing one tile on my hands and knees for 10, 12 hours straight. Lots of groups, lots of talking. You're working out your issues and whatnot. The other kind is a 28-day program. Those are a little bit easier. Obviously you're only in there for 28 days. It's not as intense from what I experienced. I only did one of them, but it was actually a good spot. They gave you acupuncture therapy, Suboxone if you're addicted to opiates. They took care of you there. You do your 28 days and you leave. Another one of your options is, you're going to be in jail. There's prison and there's jail. Jail is, a year or under, where you're staying in your local county jails. Prison is when you go to the state prisons, and I'm not talking about the feds. I'm talking about the state prisons for whatever state you're in. I'm from Long Island, so we got, and I'm Suffolk County, so we got Riverhead or Yaphank, and from what I experienced in them, they're horrible. Riverhead jail is just dirty. You're all packed in. It's just not a place you want to be. It's really not. There's a lot of fighting. I had to get into a decent amount of fights there myself. Sometimes people want to play with your food, and you're either going to let people do things to you, or you're going to handle it right then and there. You just got to remember, you can't win them all. You win some, you lose some. You just got to fight. If you got to fight, you got to fight. You got to do what a man's got to do. You want to put yourself in those positions, you're going to have to handle the consequences, The other kind is prison. And since April 2009 till August of 2018, I've been free 5 months, and that was all in 2012. Other than that, I've been locked up the whole time. I've been in quite a few upstate prisons. I've been to Green. Started my bid in Green in 2010. I finished my bid in Green in 2018. That's supposedly one of the worst mediums. A lot of young adolescents there cutting each other. it wasn't that bad for me. I never really ran into too many problems there. But I've been there, Mount McGregor, Wallkill, Franklin, Mohawk, Mid-State, and Collins, and the Shoe 200s, which is just basically the box in between each one, because I had gotten myself into trouble, a lot of fights, and it wasn't all just fighting, but a lot of fights in there, and in those type of environments, you're gonna get treated how you act. You act like a man, you're gonna get treated like a man. You act like a little bitch, and you'll be treated accordingly, and you're not always able to avoid conflict, I've gotten into a few fights. Some I could have easily avoided, some I couldn't, but it is what it is. I put myself in that position, and I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But like I said, I just did my time. I came out August of this year, just 2 months ago, and when you come out of prison, unless you max out on your entire bid, like if you got a split bid, like a 3 to 6, and you do the whole 6, you're coming out with no parole. If you get a 3 to 6 and you only do 3 years, you got 3 years left of parole. You got to do, you got to finish your time, whether it's in prison or in the street. You got that, and you get flat bids. I got 2 bids on my DIN number. I had a flat 3 and then a flat 5, but I got a 10 number because I came up 2010. But every year you come up state, that's a number you get. You come up in 2008, you got an 8 number. 2009, 9 number, 10, you get a 10 number. If you go upstate and you go to downstate, you get an A number, so you'll have a 10A. If you go to Ulster, you'll have an R number, 10R. If you're from upstate New York and you go to Elmira, you get a B number, 10B, or this year 13B. And whatever number inmate you are into the state, that's what number you are. I'm 10R 1186 because I came up 2010, went to Ulster, and I was the 1,186th person to come upstate. So 10R 1186. But this tail end of the bid, like I said, I caught 2 bids on this DIN number. It was a flat 505 post. So I maxed out on the bid. I kept getting a new CR. I kept getting into fights, issues with programs, just a whole bunch of stuff. So I did the whole bid, but I'm only maxed out on the bid part. I didn't max out on the parole. I got 5 years parole, post-release supervision. So once you get home, you're gonna have to report the parole. The second you get out, you get 24 hours. Either you report the same day or you report by the next day. If you don't report by that time, they're gonna come looking for you, and you're gonna go right back to where you just left. And you got to give them an address where they look into it and either approve it or deny it. I had my family, my mother and my father. They would have let me stay at their house, but they have rifles and a shotgun and whatnot. They got guns. You can't have guns in the house at all. Even though they had them in a safe, and the safe was mounted to the wall in the room, and the room was always locked, they didn't want me there. So right now I'm currently in an emergency shelter, and you can stay here for a few months, and they try to locate you other housing options. And I've been here since I came out, and later on this week I should be going to another house. Right now I'm in Riverhead in Long Island. They should be moving me by Friday to a house in Port Jefferson. It's a TPH, temporary housing. It's not an emergency shelter, it's temporary housing, and it's a little more long term. From what I understand, I could be there for like a year. They try to help you get your shit together, and to where you can get your own apartment or whatnot. Right now, I don't drive. I owe a little under $4,000 for driving tickets, and I used to drive anyway. But if I got pulled over, it wasn't that serious. If I got arrested for it, I'll bail right out. It's not even a big charge. Most of the time, they give you a ticket, but with the police contact, I'll get a year or better parole violation because I'm a Category 1, a violent felon. So it's not worth it. If I was driving, I can go right back to work as a plumber because I do plumbing. But considering I can't drive, they're not going to pick you up, and they don't want to hear that you'll take a bus. So I'm going to have to get something local, pay off my tickets. Once I get the tickets paid off, then I can go back to work, as a plumber. And then once I do that, then I'll get my own apartment. But until then, I'm not going to be able to afford my own apartment. It's very expensive in Long Island, so I'm going to stay in the temporary housing. That's pretty much it for now. Leave comments down below. If I see anybody have any questions, I'll make more videos. This was just a first video just to see how it is, see how it was. I'm going to probably break everything down into more sections and be a little more detailed with it. Right now, I just gave you a really, really quick overview because it's the first time I put myself on camera, and it's the first time, I had to sit there and talk for any period of time about myself. So this is it for now. Hope you enjoyed it.